All right, now we've been teaching something that the kingdom message, the assignment that we have. And I was talking to my wife about something, and how sometimes you'll look back, some things you be getting, you be studying, you be researching, you be going through like a personal development. And then when you get into another area, you see why you got that. Anybody had that to happen? Oh, that's why. So the kingdom message, I got messages 15 years ago talking about keys to the kingdom, things like this. But this level right here of foundation building for others is heavily relied upon. I heavily relied upon. The Holy Spirit had me to rely upon understand the original language in the Hebrew definition of the Hebrew. Because when we see certain things and hear certain things, we're able to get a pure, uncontaminated definition of those Hebrew words so that we can get a better understanding of the kingdom concepts and precepts. The Hebrew language is the first language in the earth that the Father communicated to mankind in. We know this. I don't have to go prove nothing. It's just too many factors will build that truth up. And of course, language is an articulation of ideals to express those ideals to the one you want to communicate those ideals to. That's the purpose of language. So the Hebrew language, when the Father communicated to mankind in the earth to express his ideals, he chose a language that have over 70 layers that have numerical value. The letters are not just letters or characters. They're actually words. Each word have a meaning. Each word is spelled with several other words. Denoting unity and integrity is awesome. That verse, Yeshua said, the olive and the top, been looked over for years because we've been told that the Messianic scriptures were written in Greek first. Now, I will conclude that the New Testament was written in Greek, but not the Messianic scriptures. And the reason I say that, because the term New Testament was coined by a Catholic bishop, Melito, around 150 AD, and that is when the ambassadors were being broken from their roots, broken from original language and truths by the Roman Catholic Church. And originally, the Messianic scriptures were written in Hebrew. You got Ethiopic. Y'all know what Ethiopic means? Black. You got a black translation. I'm just saying this so people can understand very clear what Ethiopian mean. You got black folk had a translation that's older than the Greek translation. So that's just, when I was in the seminary, it wasn't gelling. I said, how does this be old than this? And you telling me this is original. So I'm saying that to say this, that in order to get the original idea or truth, that's what truth is, original, then you have to hear or understand the original articulation of those ideals. Now you catching it? And if you don't do that, you're dependent upon somebody else's thoughts in terms of what those words mean. So we want to go into this area of the belief system, how we became, how we are, and how to change. I'm still into that. There's just an insert into that to get us to understand some things more clearly. Now, our belief system is the what? The most powerful force that's on the inside of us. An idea or a thought is the most powerful force that's in the earth. You cannot kill an idea or a thought. If you kill the person who possessed the idea or the thought, you'll cause that idea or thought to multiply. Y'all remember when Yeshua said in Yochanan 12, he said, when the corn falls from the ear, when the grain falls from the ear, it die, go into the ground, then it's multiplied. And he was telling them, this is what I got to do. I'm the seed. I got to die. I got to separate, be planted so that I can multiply. He was speaking in parabolic language so those that wanted to understand could understand. So actually, multiplication is a result of a seed separating from the source, germinating, multiplying, and increasing. You can take one seed and plant a tree or a fruit tree and get many fruit, right? But if that seed never come out and separate from that environment and go to another environment, it never generate, you never get the tree. The tree is in the seed. You catching it now? Okay, so, it's very important we understand that principle there. Now, our belief system is just that it's powerful, and that idea is just that powerful. When Yeshua gave his life and sold his life, what happened? The idea or thought of the kingdom did what? Multiplied, right? The thoughts of Elohim multiplied. Look at Martin Luther King, murdered, assassinated right here in Memphis, Tennessee. He said he knew what was going to happen, but he wasn't afraid of death. See, any great leader is not afraid of death. That's the last thing on your mind. The thing that drives you is your purpose in the earth and being an agent of change in terms of affecting someone else to conform to the kingdom mandate that Elohim gave mankind in the beginning. Martin Luther King got assassinated. What happened? His idea is still here, right? It multiplied. It increased. Check every person out that had a great dream, and the dream is bigger than the vision. The dream affects thousands. Everyone that they martyred, what happened? Their idea increased. Saddam Hussein, they killed him. Another one jumped up. Who was the next one behind that? Osama bin Laden. They killed Osama bin Laden, then somebody else pop up. This is why, the evil people in America and the leaders that occupy government positions, they really stop. They finally got a little, sense. They stopped assassinating leaders and people who would influence their communities, because they saw that every time they assassinated someone, their idea would multiply. Any president that would try to bring equality to all people, what they do, they kill them. Now, how many presidents have been assassinated? Abraham Lincoln assassinated, President Kennedy assassinated, another Kennedy assassinated. Anybody, let me just put it plain. Anybody try to help black folk, they would kill them. Just bottom line. Just kill them. All right? So, and things like that need to be said. So since I'm not in the Christian religion, I can say stuff like that. Since I'm ambassador, I can state truth. Y'all catch it? All right. So these ideals cannot be killed. Your idea, your vision, dream can't be killed. It can only lie dormant. Now, that idea is coming from a source that has been deposited in your belief system. You catching it? Now, the scripture says, as a person think, their philosophy, so is a person, right? Right? Now, so what we're going to deal with today is the power of the belief system, the power of internal and external environmental influence. The power of what? Internal. And when I say that, I'm talking about as a man think it in his heart, internally, and then the external environmental surroundings that you are placed in, your belief system. Now, in order to change, we know there's 6 stages that we need to go through, right? And I'm going to keep these before you. Until you not just taking notes and don't know them, but in action until they become a part of you. Once this system, this process become a part of you, then there's nothing that you cannot do. There's no environment that you cannot change, that you cannot influence. There's nothing can overcome you. And I was talking to Dr. Nay yesterday, and I was telling her, she was saying, man, what people need to see, they need to change in order to change. Saying how powerful, that revelation is. And I was saying, whatever I got now, I'm looking at everything. Everything, whether I need to change or not, I apply this daily, all the time, and doing an overhaul all the time, because I want to know how I got the way I am. Make sure that it wasn't some traditional teaching or some traditional way that was passed down and I didn't check it out. See, mom and them had some good stuff, but also they had some stuff that wasn't good stuff. And if we just take it because that's our parents and that's what they are telling us to do and don't check it with the word, then we're simply receiving a tradition unchecked. And that's why we got a lot of stuff right now. Here's one of the most powerful traditions that was started by the Romans that's influencing the whole world today in the culture, in the culture of religion. This season that we're in, you got the Christmas holiday, right? And of course, we know that Yeshua wasn't born during Christmas. We know that Constantine started all this stuff. We know all this stuff, as ambassadors. We know it. And we know the actual day that the time, the week that he was born during the Feast of Tabernacle. We know. Even Jonathan Cahn and other people around teaching about the springtime based on Jewish tradition, not the truth. European Jewish tradition, and a totally conflicting what the script. I can't believe that. It's terrible. I said, wait a minute, bro, you just wrote that book, The Harbinger, and this, that, and the other, and you did this and that. And how you set up there and say something like that based on a European Jewish tradition about sheep only being born in the spring? And you put a sheep out there right now or in the springtime, that sheep gonna get pregnant. You put them together, they getting pregnant. So I raise hogs and cows, I know. And you can use an almond tree and effect is what you call an aphrodisiac? Aphrodisiac, what is it? I don't know it very well because I don't need this stuff. Aphrodisiac, okay, you can, now an almond tree actually, and we're going to see this in what we're talking about, that's an aphrodisiac for for women, if y'all didn't know that. Yeah, brother, you have some problems, just get you an almond tree and let us smell that fresh almond tree, and man, you have a tiger out the cage. But see, you can do certain things if we understand what we're going to talk about today, this study in biology called epigenetics, to make things happen. Sheep not born in it and going, and then, anyway, let me get off of that because, all right, let's keep going. Anywho, so this culturistic, romantic, originated Catholic Church started day or season has nothing to do with Scripture. Okay? Nothing to do with Scripture. Now, anytime we add to, that doesn't mean that it have anything to do with it. Okay? All right, so that's how powerful tradition and culture is. Okay? And its religion is the foundation of it. And that's why I don't teach against nothing. I just teach truth, and you do what you want to do. You won't do truth if truth not in you, number one. And if you allow tradition to cause the word of Elohim to be of none effect, that's judgment upon you and not upon me. Is that not what the scriptures say? So this six-stage conformity, looking at our belief system, we got to go and look at that because that's the hard drive. What have we placed on our hard drive? So we're talking about, what is it? Our belief system, power belief system, the power of internal, external, environmental influence. Okay, now the 6 stages of conformity is what? Precepts. Precepts is a pre-thought or the original idea. Once we receive that, it crystallizes in us, become our what? Concept. Con mean to be with, to connect. We connect with that precept, it becomes our concept. And out of our concept, what's going to happen? We develop what? Convictions. Con, again, gather with that concept, and then convictions. Y'all seeing it now? Convictions will produce our what? Belief system, because our belief system is a result of our convictions. Then out of the belief system, we know that that belief system is an environment of what? Ideologies, different ideals or precepts that we receive. And that ideology is what we think about all the time, which ultimately is going to become our what? Philosophy. And our philosophy is a reflection, a prophet of our what? Lifestyle. So however we are living, always look at the way you live. Look at how you are actually engaged in daily life. That's a result of our thinking. As a man thinketh in the heart, so is the person. I received that precept in my heart, that mechanism of choice, my will in my soul, and that controls me on the inside. The Hebrew word for heart is leb. It's spelled lamed. One of the meanings of lamed means to control. Then bayet is the power working on the inside. The covenant power that's working on the inside of me in my heart is what's controlling me. So if I'm doing things that don't make sense, I need to check out what's controlling me. You seeing it? And just go through each step. My lifestyle is a result of my philosophy. My philosophy is a result of the things I'm thinking about. These ideologies is what deposited in my what? Belief system. My belief system is a result of what? My convictions. My conviction is a result of what? My concept. My concept is a result of what? A result of what? My precept. And just apply it. And it changes every time. Every time it works. Every time it works. So what we're going to do here is just look at this area, scientific study. That's huge. Now, we're going to look at, from a scientific standpoint, the study of the body, what goes on in the body, that area of science, and this area called epigenetics. Okay? Now, epigenetics, just a simple definition, is a biological mechanism that turns genes on and off. We have some powerful stuff going on inside of us, and we want to look at it from this point, the external influence of environment, so we can really get to the main one, which is the internal influence of environment. So epigenetics is where what? Genes are turned on or expressed by internal or external environmental influence. You see this? Now, I'm going to post something on the study group page, but go and do your research. Start looking at epigenetics. I'm going to let you know right now. It's going to help you understand this process of change and how you can change things. And you're going to see that all of this come from the Word. All of it come from the Word. You're going to see this very clear because the Father is the creator. He made our bodies. And our bodies are uniquely and wonderfully made. When we begin to study, I always like looking at little charts in school and studying them different cells and stuff. Didn't know it. I was actually just being mesmerized by the design of my creator. Even when I was small, I always liked science and biology and stuff like that. So I got this chart here just showing some different things about epigenetics, and you can go look at them a little later. But this is what we want to really get into now. All right, now, and I got some definitions or just some definitions or explanations that I want us to take time and read through them. Not rushing through it because this is important to understand some other things spiritually. Now, epigenetic is a what? Mechanism that regulates gene expression independent of the underlying DNA sequence, relying instead on the chemical modification of DNA and histone proteins. Although environmental and genetic factors were thought to be independently associated with disorders, several recent lines of evidence suggest that epigenetics bridges these two factors. Epigenetic genes regulation is essential for normal development. Is what? Essential for what? Normal development. Thus, defects in epigenetics cause various rare congenital diseases. Because epigenetics is a reversible system. Please note that. A reversible system. And we know epigenetics is the mechanism that turns genes on and off, right? Right? All right. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm just going to keep reading. Thus, it's a reversible system that can be affected by various what? Environmental what? Factors such as drugs, nutrition, mental stress. The epigenetic disorder also include common diseases induced by what? Environmental what? Factors. Yeshua kept teaching us about this, and we always talk about our what? Environment or environmental influence. Who you're around, what you're listening to, what you're allowing to come into your mind, into your thinking, into your heart. Who are you hanging around? You seeing it now? See, all of this stuff affects our genes. Its genes in us are being activated or stimulated, and some are being told to lie dormant and don't do anything. Okay? All right. Now, epigenetics has become more popular now. Now, this is where we're at now. It has developed huge research field that extends beyond genetics, encompassing not only biology and medicine, but also what? Nutrition. And Dr. Nick got that health page on there. You see it? But we think it's just some natural thing. No, it's more than that. Education. We've been talking about light and darkness. Okay? Right? Health and social sciences. It now appears that epigenetics bridges the two major disease-causing factors, environmental and genetic in medicine. A lot of people are sick because of the environment that they're in. But they ain't going to tell you that. A poverty environment is there to do damage. Why change an environment that poverty breeds in if you want to depress or keep people down and keep them sick? Epigenetic, key to the genetic understanding of environmental factors. And epigenetic alterations are seen in various cancers and are currently used clinically as diagnostic markers. These alterations occur in response to what? Internal or external. See, that internal part, is dealing with the spirit realm. And unless you're receiving information from the one who created the spirit, you're only guessing at it. So this is why you have to be careful dealing with people's minds and the way they think and how they act based on scientific study that's not based on the word. If you want to know how a product operates, you have to go back to the one who did what? Manufactured the product. There is a manual that comes with every product you receive, whether you read it or not. They was putting together something upstairs for us the other day. I said, man, I hope they read the manual. Because every time they have to come back to me, I was just take it down, read the manual, and put it back together. That's why it's there. I've been in the profession of construction, carpentry, if you want to call it that, but it's another level. I don't know what label you need to put on it now, because, but just doing everything. And some parts, some pieces or products I install, after 40 years, I still open it up and look at that manual. Because things change. They're enhancing, improving stuff, and you go the old way, you've been took something off and slapped it on, it don't work right. And how many of you buy TVs, and you going through, before you read the manual, you ask somebody. Call somebody, text them, how does that, you text them and say, read the manual. Because the manual is the mind of the manufacturer. Y'all catch this? So if you don't know the mind of the manufacturer, then you're simply being told what somebody else think about it through observation. And spirits are very deceptive. Okay. All right. Now, internal or external environment cues and occur over a long time period during what? Carcinogenous. I guess I got that right. I didn't get no help on that one. So I guess somebody else didn't know how to say it neither. Now you go and research your own research. I try to get stuff real simple that's getting to the point where I'm getting to, but this is something I'm telling you, look into this field of study. Lights are going to go off everywhere relating to the word that we're being taught. Now, Elohim has placed what? Stem cells. It's very important. Stem cells, because the mechanism, that epigenetic process which turns genes on and off, also deals with these stem cells. Okay? And what are genes? Genes are hereditary. They are passed down from parents to offspring. So all of us here are a result of the genes of our parents. And genes influence characteristics. You catching this? So if you want to go on and get deep with it, go all the way back to Adam and Masa Negad and see what they were capable of. In order to find that out, we look at Yeshua and what he did, and he expressed what they were capable of doing. Turning water to wine, raising the dead, speaking the word and driving demons out. Everything that he did was an expression of what Adam, Masa Negad, was also able to do. So if we think like that, now we know if we think like that, we'll come up with the concept that I can do anything that Yeshua did. That's why he said, these works, the things you see me doing, you will do greater. But we've been limited because there are genes in our body that are lying dormant, that have not been activated because of an internal or external environmental influence. Now, Elohim has placed stem cells all over our body to constantly repair the body, which is activated through what? Beliefs and environmental stimuli. You see it? You see the spiritual and you see the natural. As a man thinketh in his heart, that's where your belief system is. So actually what I believe can turn genes on and off in my body. It can activate stem cells that's already been placed in me to keep me in a state of health with no medicine. Y'all catching this? Well, you'll catch it. You'll catch it. You're getting it. And here I just got a chart, potential use of stem cells. And this is why, the abortions, the embryonic stem cells, killing them babies. Because within that stem cell have not only the power to repair, but also to regenerate. Now, the only stem cell in our body that can regenerate is in our ribs. All the other bones are capable of repairing themselves. Only the rib is capable of regeneration. I'm not going to get into that now. Remember Adam? Elohim put him in a deep sleep and took a rib. Y'all remember that? All right. And then, we got 12 ribs, right? Man still have 12 ribs because the rib was able to regenerate and replace. So when he took that rib out, another one grew back. Only the rib is the only bone in the body that carry those type of stem cells to regenerate. Not only repair, but regenerate. Now they're finding this out. Okay? Because earlier what they were doing was killing the babies and getting the placenta. They was out there stem cell. And, I thought about this. I said, well, I'll be how to do this. I think we got some messages back in the 90s talking about the abortion clinics and stuff like that being placed primarily in African American communities. Right? I said, right. And then African American women are on the top of the list in terms of aborting their children. See, their mind's been programmed to do that. They really were after the stem cells all the time. And see, the other folk, they were selling theirs. They didn't tell you to sell. They just told you, this is going to stop you from, accomplishing your career, and it's going to hinder you back and blah, and you won't be able to take care of the baby and blah, 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 blah. They was after stem cell all the time. And if you want the best of the product, you go back to the closest original created source, right? So all the time they was telling you that Adam and Eve was black. See, this opened up a lot of things. You have to keep your head open. Now now they're finding out they can get it from a different way, so they're not pushing it so forcefully. I used to always say, well, if you're going to treat cervical cancer, do it without aborting the babies. You still can do the same thing. Well, see, you don't know abortion clinics, they treat cervical cancer and they provide help for women. Keep doing that. Just don't kill the babies. Doesn't make sense? Okay, all right. Look here, stroke, traumatic brain injury, learning defects, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, missing teeth, baldness. Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to get that fro, Jack. I'm getting ready to get that fro. Oh, yeah, it's on. But you see several things that these stem cells are in our body to keep them intact. You see it? Well, okay. Now, what is environmental? Let's look at this term. He teaching a science class. Nope, I'm teaching the word. Now, the term environment, let's look at this. It refers to the what? Now we're dealing with the belief system, how internal and external environments stimulate different genes in the body, right? That's what we're looking at, right? Now, if you hear and listen, those that are streaming, if you listen, this broadcast, if you listen real good, before this is over, about the time that we get through teaching, or when you are listening to this teaching, your body will begin to restore itself. Because if you listen, I didn't say hear, if you listen with intent to obey, then there's a stimulation going to take place on the inside of you, going to activate stem cells, genes in your body that's going to cause your healing to take place. Because the healing is already there. Dr. Crockett taught us back there in the 80s, our body was designed with everything in it to heal itself. Okay? All right, the term refers to the natural setting in which we what? Live. Environmental influence, the natural setting in which we live. For example, a home environment refers to where we what? Live in our homes. Right? So if you don't clean your house up, then you got an unclean, unorderly environment that's influencing you. Internal and external. It's influencing you, and that is painting an image, a reflection to your mind, whether you know it or not, to send to your remaining body, spirit, soul, and body, on how things should normally be. You're programming yourself to be acceptable to things that are out of order. cereal on the table, bacon slabs laying all over the sink, dishes 3 days old, floor still dirty, banana peels on the side of the TV screen, peanut butter on the couch, the dog hair all over the house, and you want me to come over your house? No, bro, I'll stand outside and talk to you. And if that person is living in an environment like that, whether they know it or not, it's influencing them. It's turning genes on and it's turning genes off. All right? Now, currently, the term environment refers to what? An ecological awareness that concerns itself with rectifying and sustaining the planet during its current challenges. Here's Webster's definition of environment. The circumstances, objects, or conditions by which one is surrounded. What is surrounding you? What is surrounding you? What objects? What circumstance am I in right now? You understanding this? See, a poverty-stricken environment is put there on purpose. It's by design. I was talking to someone, they had a blowout, hit a pothole. I said, well, those tires you got on your car were designed for expensive sport cars. Now, the people who can afford those cars live in districts where their streets are good. Their districts isn't poverty-stricken. So you think poverty, you just think about the hood and stuff. It's much greater than that. So you go put tires on your car that were designed for the people out here, and you go drive down the street, hit 4 or 5 potholes, and you got 4 flats. You catching it? Why? Because those tires were not designed for that environment. That environment, what you call gerrymandering, was purposely designed and set up by racists in political positions to depress and oppress minorities and black people. They ain't gonna fix your streets. You don't have enough tax base to get your streets fixed, and if you had it, we're gonna change the borders to get that money into our district. Racism is a devil. Racists are D-E-V-I-L, de-evil. You seeing this? It's nothing. It's nothing for us to continue to be insensitive to it and accept it as a norm. It's time for a revolution. And quit just accepting stuff. This thing is real. Okay, now let's continue to read this. The complex of physical chemicals, biotic factors. Y'all see where I'm at? I'm right here. Such as climate, soil, living things that act upon an organism or an ecological community and ultimately does what? Determine its what? Form and what else? Survival. Why are these young men out here wearing their pants halfway down their their legs, and walking like a gorilla? There it is right there. It's the environment is determining the form. That's a prison. That's in prison. If somebody have visited your rear end and they own it, then you keep them pants hanging. Your butt belong to somebody. Oh, it don't mean that, man. It mean I'm cool. No, it mean that. That's the original precept. And you don't take a precept and change it, because precepts are unchangeable. Only way you get rid of the precept, you have to exchange it for another one. It still tremendously exists. When someone tried to give you information and knowledge regarding stuff you are putting in your body and violating the manufacturer's instructions to the product that he made. See, a lot of people are in defiance, in rebellion against the government of the kingdom through the way stuff you put in your body and stuff you put on your body. And the devil's sitting back there laughing, because he know that this is just as important as you going to a strip club and buying a stripper, male or female. Oh, that's wrong. But that other stuff is just as wrong. Because we don't own these bodies. They have been purchased, and they're the temple of the Holy Spirit. Now, if you own your body, quit telling people you're saved. If you do what you want to do with your body, stop saying Yeshua is your Lord, because he is not. Lordship requires 100% or nothing. All right? Now, let's look at these 5 points. 5 points, okay? Did I switch it? Okay. The power of influence in environments. Internal environments are created by what? Now, where is that concept located? Look at this six stage process of conformity. Which one of those that the concepts fall into? Since concepts, internal environments are created by concepts, concept is a result of what? Of receiving a what? Which is a thought. All of us need to understand here. Thoughts were here before we got here. Ideals were here. There's nothing new under the sun, Ecclesiastes says. Let me see it up, do that right by the Hebrew. Where is it at? Kohelet saith, and everything that you see, you're going to see it again. Okay? The Father is the source of all knowledge in the earth. So when you get an idea, it's not new. It's a revelation, meaning something has revealed that was already here. Internal environments are created by concepts. So now, let me just give them to you. Let me see how I want to do this. All right, the source of concepts are precepts. You see that, a pre-existing idea of thought. The external environment is subject to the what? Internal environment. Many wealthy people live in a poverty-stricken environment. I left that out. Okay? So external environment is subject to the internal. That means that the natural is subject to the spirit. You seeing it? Everything in the natural is subject to the spiritual dominion that we have. You can take your spiritual dominion rulership and change anything in the natural. Did Yeshua not touch the water and it turned to wine? I said, did he not? Yeshua did what he did as a man walking in dominion you can do. The reason we're not doing it is because our internal environment have not been inundated by the genes, spiritual genes that need to be activated in order for that to happen. He said, what I do, greater works you're going to do. So we need to wipe out the excuses. So whatever he did that I can't do, I know why I can't do it. And I think that's very exciting. I know I need to change my internal environment. I need to change what's in my heart, what's on my hard drive. I got to put these programs. If the program is there, I got to activate it. I got to go and get the license, get the key and activate the program and use it. It's in me. It was in him. Well, you know, there's something that the law did no, and no. That's a contradictory to Scripture. Yeshua was the last Adam, the last representative of Elohim in the earth to bring everybody else back to their place of position, of dominion, of walking in the supernatural, causing everything in the natural to obey. Yeshua created out external environments by the internal environment that was in them being released through his words. He said, my words are spirit. And what's coming out of me is the environment, what I live in my inside, in my mind, in my thoughts. How I live in my thoughts is what you see in my life in the natural realm. As a man thinketh, so you live as a result of your. So whatever we think, environment we create in my mind is released out of us in our words. His words creating an external environment that cause death to let go. They cause sickness and disease to run, get plane tickets, flights, emergency flights to get out of people's bodies. His words and his environment, his words cause demons to reveal themselves and talk back and ask them not to bother them. He just spoke, and they said he teach with such power and authority. What was he doing? His words contained the internal environment that was in his mind, and when he spoke his word, the internal environment that was in him affected that and changed the external environment. Yeshua didn't walk in a place with sick people and they stayed sick. The only way they stayed sick was because of offenses and unbelief. Because his words could not work in an environment of what? Offense and belief. It's a violation of a holy principle of character and integrity. I'm not going to force this on you if you don't want it. If you tripping with me, you did that. I can't help you because you are free. You got a free will. You got free choice. All right? I mean, how many wealthy people you know have be writing books on how they came up with nothing? How many people you know that's living differently versus the way they came up in that external poverty-stricken environment? You're looking at one. I was talking to a guy yesterday. Every time we show up now, they buy food. But anyway, I mean, thank the Lord. That's $100 say. But he was telling me how he chopped cotton. I said, man, I picked cotton right back over here. Yeah, right over there was some bad roads. He said, man, then we used to hate them bad. I said, yeah, man, we just talking. You want to get out the rows of cotton, got weeds and stuff. They have a lot of weeds. You don't want to chop that one. You want to go to another one where it's easy. But anyhow, we were just talking and things like that. And, he's doing well off and stuff like that. And I'm fine. My success to me is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. See, y'all think success is driving a big expensive car and stuff like that. And not having car notes and this note and that note and the other note. Y'all catching this? So, I was brought up chopping cotton, feed hogs, hauling cardboard, riding on the back of a truck. I used to be ashamed when I went to school because I had the Bajas on and, pants, maybe wear the same pair of pants 3-4 days and stuff like that. But, it was put in my mind that you are better than they are. They just got better clothes. Better clothes will make them a better person. That's what mama told me now. That what daddy told me. You're going to be somebody. You're going to do things that I couldn't do. You got opportunities. Take advantage of it. You got to watch this because you're going to be somebody. You're going. So that's all I heard, Sometimes we would, that hog, we'll call hog mud. If you step in that, it got an odor on it. It's hard to get off your shoes. Man, I hated I done changed my shoes and got it on there, and I'd be sitting up in class and smelling something. Because I have an extra pair to change into. But what I'm saying is all of that didn't stimulate my internal environment, because the words I heard was you're going to be somebody, you going somewhere, you better than they are. You don't have to talk back to them because you are better than, even though I fought them now and get them off it, but you don't have to hang around that bunch of, that's what mama them told me. Mama had 7th grade education. They wouldn't let them go to school. They made them go out in the fields and work. Now, if my mama can do that and your mama got degrees and all of this and all, it look like to me, mama, you can tell your kids something different what you telling them. And daddy. Y'all catching this? So your internal environment will always overcome your external. External won't overpower you. Now, that brings up point number 4. The external environment can influence the internal if the what? Internal has no foundation based on the original truth that comes from the Father. That means that you as a believer can go somewhere else, get some knowledge, get some information, and be, I don't suppose to use stupid a lot, would be ignorant and receive that over the influence of the kingdom that's there because of a weak foundation. Y'all catching this? All right. How many children, adults? I know plenty of them. They went through children's church. They went through teen kingdom, whatever you call it. They went through all the youth programs, went to college, and got totally wild. Just flopped in everything. Just got bucked stupid. What happened? Didn't have a foundation in the external environment, influenced their internal, and overpowered it because of a weak foundation. People go to the seminary, come out atheists. Y'all didn't know that? Go to seminary, come out in worse shape than they were before they went in. They said a little something go. They went in that mess and got all that dark information or history about religion, and they conformed to that versus conformed to what the truth that they had. That's because the internal foundation was weak, very weak. Children, including me, we were raised a certain way. We got to want to do something different because we heard mama and daddy, but we didn't listen to them. So now another idea and thought was presented before us, and we going to fight over this idea I got. Now I know I ain't going to do my kids like that. You rebellious, defiant outfit, you. You are like that because you didn't listen, you only heard, and your internal environment was weak from start. So now we can see why we want to do things different. You want to raise your kids like Dr. Spock or whoever, however they teach. Well, Dr. Spock, that's old. Well, whatever they teaching you, check this out. See, I'm laying a foundation. I got some good stuff for you, believe me. I heard from a pretty reliable source in this area that they're teaching the parents now, if you got a boy, not to place him around colors that's masculine. If you got a girl, don't place her in an environment where the colors are feminine. Let them make their choice. Now, I got to say stupid on that. That's stupid, dumb, and ignorant. If a believer, and you call yourself ambassador, would accept something like that, that's showing you your belief system is totally corrupt. That did not come from the manufacturer. Y'all catching this? All of that is this new age humanistic stuff that they want your children to defy the created state that they were created in by their creator. Actually, it's also a rebellious act against the Father. See, the enemy, the devil, D-E-V-I-L, evil, is out here teaching people. See, Yeshua said that the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. If you read the preceding verses, he was talking about doctrine. See, he'll form a college and get a class going and require you to get degrees and stuff to educate you in darkness in these areas that don't have anything to do with light. Listen, the Father and all fathers, we determine the sex of our offspring, of our children. We do that. Just like in the beginning, who determined the male man species? The Father did. Who determined the female man species? Who did it? The Father did. Did he not? Look, is it genes, the X and the Y? The female only carry, chromosomes. That's it. Thank you. The female only carry X chromosomes. The male carry X and Y. So when a conception takes place, that father is going to give that female either X or Y. If he give her X, he is saying that my child is going to be a girl. If he give her Y, he is saying my child is going to be a boy. Only the father can determine it. Now, that's so what your sex preference has been determined before you was born. Your sexual preference is located in your father, even if you're not here yet. Me being a man was determined before I was even born. Y'all hearing this? So for someone to say, don't put them in certain environments so they can make a choice, what you are saying is their father is devoid of making a choice, or that's a lie. So I'm going to come up with me another alternative lifestyle. So if you call a father lie, you call him the father lie. And Yeshua said, your daddy is the liar, the devil. The evil is the liar and the source of all lies. So all of this stuff is taking place to breed defiance against the manufacturer instructions and design that he placed in every human being he made. Now you see this attack against Creator now? So don't fall for that mess and doing all this stupid stuff. And I'm not going to do my kids like that. No, that's ignorance. That's a lack of knowledge or rebellion against the source of knowledge that you should be living by. All right? Now, where we be? Number 4? Number 5. The original purpose for mankind contains the what? Key to do what? Activating all the spiritual and natural power that mankind possess that is dormant. We got spiritual power that's lying dormant in us because we have put something on my hard drive to say, I don't want you to function. I'm going to deactivate you and activate you. I want you to do what you're supposed to do, but I don't want you to do what you're supposed to do. And it's on the hard drive. You know how you get a computer and it come with everything? But if you don't know it's there, if the icon not there, you have to search the hard drive, find out what's on it, right? Creating me a what? And renew a what? And then he says, search, the spirit of man is the candle or light of Yahweh, searching all the what? Inward parts of the inward being or the soul. He said belly, he's making an analogy talking about the inside. Your born again spirit is what searches your hard drive. Walk out of the what? Spirit. Live out of the what? Spirit. He was talking about the human spirit because our born again human spirit was created in the image of regenerated, regene. Titus talk about the washing and regeneration of the spirit. So we had to get regene. In other words, we had to take on the offspring, the genes of our father. Remember, genes are hereditary and they'll pass from parents to the offspring. When we got born again and our spirits got born again, our spirit took on the genes of our Creator, which had been defiled by our father and mother declaring Declaration of Independence against the Father. It go to another level, doesn't it? Goes to another level. All right. So that's the key, the original purpose. So now, when Yeshua said, you will do more than what I'm doing and greater, so we now can open up a little more, hopefully a whole lot more, to get understanding of how we can make this happen. We have to go back to the manual. You see it? Can you just walk in and speak and create an environment of belief and confidence to cause people to get healed? Can you just walk in an external environment of chaos and confusion and just speak and things change? Yes, you got the ability, you got the capacity. Everybody in here that's born again for real, that's why you got to get the religion rooted out of us. Okay? Now, you know I'm going to come back and deal with these. I just wanted to give them to you, and I just touch them. Believe me, I just touch them light. Now, let's look at the kingdom assignment for what? Mankind. So now we're going to go back and get this key. Let's look at the original blueprint, the original genetic code, how we were programmed originally to live in the earth. Now we know that the environment on the inside of us, what's on the inside of me, what images do I have in me? What's influencing me on the inside? You remember over in Ephraim, calls it Ephesians, Ephraim, called Ephesians. Yeah, Epsium, called Ephesians, S-E-M, called Ephesians when he said, don't be drunken, whereas dispensation, but be you what? Filled or controlled by the Holy Spirit. What he was saying, just like where intoxication would influence you to do things you normally wouldn't do, he said, don't do it that way. Let the Spirit cause you to be influenced and do things you normally wouldn't do. See, it's all about what? The key word is what? Influence. You know why? Because the Father would never violate your free will or your freedom of choice. Everything that we do, we chose to do it. That's kind of, no, I did this because so-and-so did this. Nope. Everybody got a choice. Whatever we did it by choice. Well, some people take longer to recover.